Well, hello. I'm just going to share you. Will it let me? Oh, no, mute. Will let me, yeah. I will be with you shortly. I'm just sharing you. Just got out of the bath, people, so I'm looking fresh-faced and slightly rosy-cheeked. Just sharing the things. Say hi if you are watching. I would love to know what's going on in your world at this time of night. I don't normally go live at this time. What's going on? What is going on? Sharing the things. It's shared. Okay, cool. I have some things to tell you. I have very recently, as I'm sure you have seen, I'm launching effectively 2 offerings at the moment, one of which is a collaboration with my good friend Victoria of Vamp Fit. So there's that. Hey, now are you Sarah or Sarah? This is what I want to know, because I don't want to get it wrong, because it really annoys me when people get my name wrong or abbreviate it to Gina. There's only one person in this world who can get away with that. Literally one person who I allowed to call me that. So, yeah, basically, that is, you know, a free 5-day thing, and it's not what I'm coming on to talk to you about today, but like, I'm aware that I'm launching 2 things at the moment, because, you know, when they say, you should really launch one thing and focus on that one thing, I go, Sarah. Okay, great. God, this lighting is terrible. I look awful. It's fine. We're just going to roll with it. The message is more important than the fact I look like Casper the Ghost, because this lighting is terrible. This is what we need to remember, Georgina. So, double launch at the moment. The Cultivate Confidence with Victoria will lead into a 12-week program for anyone who wants to come and do that, like much deeper work with us, right? And then there's Disrupt, which is my next level mastermind that's starting at the end of January and running for 3 months. And it's, you know, it's my container. So there's going to be clearing and energy work, all that stuff. Hi, Stephanie. Nice to have you on live. Yeah, so it'll be all of the things. It's not just going to be a straightforward, we have a chat a few times a month and then you move on about your life. It's going to be all of the magic, all of the energy work, all of the meditation, all of the clearing and the realigning and the mindset and all that good stuff. We're more likely to talk about, you know, visiting a shaman than an accountant, if you like. And it's always the way for me that when I create an offering that I've been guided to create that feels really big and a little bit scary, but really like aligned as fuck, it will often be a case that pieces of it will only really drop in when I am in the process, hey Holly, when I'm in the process of actually marketing it, and even when I start delivering it, new things will drop in, things will shift and realign. This is really important because to me, I only ever want to work with somebody as a mentor in any area of my life, whether it's, you know, my physical training or in my business or whatever. I only ever want to work with someone who I know is really passionate about what they do and is really committed to creating a container and an environment for me that means I'm going to get the results that I desire, that they create an environment in which I'm going to be able to nurture the parts of myself that need to be nurtured in order for me to get the results I want. Yeah, I don't expect them to do the work for me. I don't expect them to click their fingers and everything to be magical. But what I do feel into when I'm making any investment in mentors, coaches, trainers, anything, I'm always feeling into, are they creating a space and a container that allows me to fully become the person I want to become? Hey, Monica. Hey, Bish. My little magpie. How you doing? Magpie, because that's the name of your company, right? Magpie's Nest. So I just wanted to come on and share where I'm at with this right now, because I'm aware that this is a part of the journey that I don't think a lot of people actually talk about. I've certainly never heard anybody be quite this honest about their process, and this is just kind of my bag, right? I'm very transparent. I tell you all of the things. So I thought, well, I just come on and tell you about this. When you move in, now I'm always doing inner work, I'm always up leveling, I'm always doing the growth work, I'm always doing the mindset work, which means that I'm now energetically available to receive a lot more money than I used to be, to hold a lot more, to grow my business, all that good stuff. What I am aware of is sometimes it takes a little while for me to fully and get energetically behind the idea of where my pricing needs to be in order to align with the amount of work I've done, the power of the container that I now hold. And I was having a session with a beautiful friend of mine who's in one of my mentoring containers, and she did a session for me where we looked in, went into the body, felt into all the things, and it was the most beautiful session, and it really helped me to see where I'd been not giving myself credit for the magic that I fucking bring. And I had this real aha moment where I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta put my fucking prices up, not for me, but for the people signing up for my containers. Because with where I was pricing things then, it was like, the work that I do, if you're not ready for this work, if you're not really ready for the level of transformation you're going to experience, or if you're going to resist it in any way, coming into one of my containers is going to be really unpleasant, painful. It's going to blow your asshole open, basically. You're just going to feel like, what the fuck just happened? So you need to be ready for that level of transformation. You've got to be someone who is so committed to seeing the parts of yourself that you've been hiding from, because you know that in doing so, in honoring those parts of yourself and reintegrating them, that's where the magic really happens. So, I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this. So I'm very aware that actually, even though I felt like my pricing was at a good place, as I step into 2021 and the magic that's been coming through, and I've had pretty much November, I just had my business coven ladies, and then when that finished the first week of December, all I've done in my business, apart from back end stuff, all I've done has been my lunar tapping circles, and that came to a close today. And I think that when that container closed, that was what really ignited this in me. So when I launch something, I will have this initial burst of, fuck yes, this is so aligned. And what will happen is I'll get an influx of inquiries. Exactly what happened when I launched Disrupt. Launched it, wrote a post about it, boom, I had 5 people reach out to me into my inbox straight away, boom. I was like, fucking hell, this is like literally magic, So anyway, there we go, conversations happen, some people are in, some people are thinking about it, all good. Zero attachment, right? Always zero attachment, because I trust the energy of the container to call in the people who are ready for it. So I know the right people will end up in there. Always how I feel about my containers, which takes a lot of stress out of it, by the way. So I highly recommend you do that. Trust your container, trust your journey, yeah? So today in the tapping circle, one of the beautiful ladies in there had a realization after we'd done a round of tapping about how she was like, oh fuck, I'm playing really small. And I was like, yeah, you are. It's so clear to me that this person is playing small. She is, oh my God, incredibly fucking powerful. I can feel it. I've never actually met this person face to face. We've never really spoken before, other than through my, my offerings and on live streams and stuff. I can feel this woman's potency from fucking across, the world. And I'm like, yeah, you're playing fucking small. You should be charging 10 times what you're charging for your offerings right now. In my mind is what I'm thinking. And as soon as I felt myself in that place of reflection, I was like, clink, look in the mirror, Georgina. Holy fuck, you're doing the same. What happens when we don't own where we are, as in, how far we've come on our journey, when we talk down to people, or we try and communicate to people that we think are in our audience, we're completely missing the people who are actually ready for the level of work that we're doing, right? So we're kind of like, we're talking under them. So they're just going, oh, she's cool, I kind of like her vibe, but I don't know whether I don't know whether that's really where I want to be. I think I want to maybe pitch a bit further up. You know, like that, I've certainly done it. To other mentors, I've been like, I really like them, but there's something about the way, like, I can feel their potency, but I can feel that they're not owning how fucking powerful they are. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to step into their container, and I'm going to, you know, I don't want to not get all of them. I want the person that's mentoring me or coaching me to fully fucking own their genius. And I have been, but now there's a whole new level of just deep potency that's been coming through. It would be, and I want you to really take this on board, because I think 90, if not 100% of the people who come and work with me have this thing where they undercharge. No matter where your pricing is currently, whether you're charging 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures for what you do, you're probably needing to double it, okay? So I'm really aware that when you do that first offering, it feels like a big leap in pricing. It feels very confronting, but here's the thing. You need to fully own the work that you've done on yourself. I've invested tens of, maybe even at this point, well over 6 figures in my personal development. You know, I've traveled around the world fucking doing programs, offerings, working with mentors, shamans, fucking all of the things. And I am more grounded in who I am now than I have ever been, and that will continue to grow, because that's always my mission, is to come more and more back to self. The potency of my magic and yours, right? So this is just a reflection. The potency of my magic, it's irresponsible, and this is what I want you to really hear. It is irresponsible of you and me to price lower than we know we should be pricing. It's also kind of patronizing. Oh, well, I think people can afford this, so that's where I'm going to price my offering. Don't patronize me, bitch. Like, if I want to work with you, I'm going to fucking find the money to invest in you. Do you know? And it happens to me all the time. People reach out to me and they're like, oh, fuck, okay, cool. And sometimes it's like, that was more than I expected. But when they really want to work with me, it's happened to me so many times. When they've made the decision, they've made the first payment, the money shows up for the rest of it. And before I know it, they're paying me early. It is not an unusual thing for me these days to now have people who have signed up on a payment plan say to me, can I actually just pay you off? Because since we started working together, I've made more money, so I can just pay you the rest now. And I'm like, sure, I'll take the money early. Yes, please. Bring it to me. So I more than doubled my prices and then didn't talk about it at all. What's your point, Georgie? What's your point? How's that working out for you? Yeah, so I've seen it time and time again that people either are like worried that they don't have the money, but then it just comes when they make the decision, or you know, like they've literally. You've got to get behind it though, right? You've got to get behind this pricing, Georgie. So you've got to fully own that that's where you are. So hopefully what I'm saying to you today, hopefully this transmission will help you own that, Babe Town. Sent too soon. I love it. Just so eager to get the message out that you just hits it. I mean, I'm pretty psychic, but I'm not that fucking good. Not yet. Tune it in 6 months and we'll see. So yeah, so this is kind of the process that I've been going through today. Anyway, the reason that I've been spurred on to do this is, I say, because I was talking to this beautiful lady in my tapping circle and I was like, holy fuck, like I can see her potency. Took a look at mine and I was like, oh shit, man. People are always reflecting back to me like, all I have to do is step into one of your containers and magic shit starts to happen. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, and it's just such an interesting thing. But my whole point around this, the title of this live stream is, if you are dedicated to the work that you are putting out into the world and you're not communicating. So I communicate with my offerings as though they're an entity, right? So for example, Disrupt, which is my 3-month mastermind coming up next year, which is what this live stream, this topic is connected to. I'd priced it and well, for a start, I priced it in pounds, and that didn't feel right. But I price everything in pounds because I'm in the UK. But I kind of have this message that keeps coming through. It's almost like, you know, American dollars are like the currency of the internet. Everyone kind of gets where they are with American dollars. So I know that the pounds will be slightly less than the number. People in Australia know it's slightly more, all that kind of stuff. Whereas when you put pounds out there and then someone from Australia converts it, they're like, fuck, that's like fucking double. So I am aware that there's all these kind of, these frequencies around at the moment. They're like around me saying, this is not in pounds, this is actually in dollars. But I ignored it because, you know, human as fuck. I'm not perfect. I didn't claim to be. Perfection is not the goal, is what I keep saying at the moment. And because part of Disrupt is actually about honouring your flow and about disrupting, not just disrupting the norm that we see on the internet, but disrupting ourselves, disrupting the unconscious dogma that we've consumed, not just about how business is meant to be done online in general, but the things, the dogma that we've told ourselves, like what works for us, that we are unconsciously just playing out time and time again without ever questioning, or without ever, not even questioning because that would be the mind, but without ever like dropping back into the body and connecting with the offering and like channeling the offering. When I'm first gifted a program or an offering to put out into the world, it's given to me through feeling. I feel it, like it's in my body. I'm like, oh fuck, here it is, like, woof. And then I put it out into the world, and it's like I just kind of put it out there, and I'm like, ta-da! And if it works, great. If it doesn't work as well as I thought, then that's also fine. I am unattached. However, with Disrupt, because it is about this disrupting our own patterns, I'm being initiated into what I'm going to be holding space for, basically, which is what always fucking happens. So the bigger the up level in my offerings, the bigger the fucking initiation. But I am here for it, people, let me tell you. So what I've been gifted today, I was in the bath, as I said, hence fresh-faced over here and slightly damp. Ooh, I was in the bath just now, and I was like, I'm not feeling as excited about Disrupt. What the fuck's going on there? And I almost didn't want to, because I know, because I'm so passionate about this offering, and I can feel it, but I know how big it's going to be and how potent this container is. Like I felt it from the very fucking beginning, and it had to be the right time, and it had to be right, and the graphics had to be right, and everything had to fall into place, and then it did, and it was like, boom, put it out there, and I did. And then I've just kind of gone, I'm just going to leave it do what it needs to do, which is also fine. But then today I was like, oh, I'm really like, I feel like I've disengaged from it, you know? So I was in the bath and I was like, well, it's going to happen. I know it's happening. That's a certain, like I asked my sacral, is this definitely happening? Yes. Okay, cool. Just checking again. And then I went, hey, just when I needed you. Ah, you're welcome. Welcome to my vortex of creation. I sprinkle some magic upon you. So I felt into it when I was in the bath just now, and I was like, what is it? And I was like, and it was like, the best way I can describe it is the me that is in that Disrupt picture, me going, like the me in that picture just looked at me and went, are you fucking kidding me on this price? And I was like, yeah, but you know, I understand that, like, what if people can't, what if the people who want to do it, and I could feel that as soon as I started, all these things in the mind started crowding in, and I could feel myself pulling the energy of the container down. But that bitch is staying there. She's like, no fucking chance. This is where I am. And getting goosebumps talking about this. And the offering said to me, you know, I could feel the message. It was like, I'm staying here. You've got to rise up to meet me. And I was like, well, maybe I'll push it back to March. Maybe that's what it needs. And it's like, you can get here sooner. And I'm like, fuck. So it's almost like I've been playing this cat and mouse game with myself around resisting where I know this offering needs to be priced. So it's going to be $10,000 and American dollars, right? Because that's what it would say. I know, totally goosebumpy. But it's like, almost like this offering, this future self thing that happens to me every now and then. Whenever I have on these big like up levels, what happens is I can feel the version of me, like the, you know, quantum entanglement. I can feel the version of me who's already like beyond. Like I can feel the me who's charging like 50k, 100k for a container. I can feel her, and she's like, look, this comes next, and then whatever, but this is the next step. And the longer you skirt around it and the longer you dart around it, the less inspired you're going to feel, the less driven you're going to feel, the less like joyful about selling, engaging in your business, or just being alive. And I was like, shit, that's what it is. That's what the problem has been, is that I'd underpriced it. It is a beast of an offering. It is not for anyone who can't overcome the pricing. And here's another big thing. Recently, when I signed up for a mastermind that was 20k in dollars, I looked at that and I had that's a hefty investment for, you know, right now. Do I really need that much support? Do I need that much of an up level? And I felt I've paid more than that for mentoring before, but there was something about this one that just felt like, I think this is for me, but it felt scary anyway. That's how I know it was a good one. So it felt scary anyway, and I was like, I feel this pull. When I thought about it, I was like dropping in, and I was like, I get to make that money back as a result of joining this mastermind anyway, so that's not an issue. It's not about the money. It never is about the fucking money, so don't even bring that to my door. Go and deal with that on your own time and then come back. But it's not about the money. So what is it? And I was like, fuck. By saying yes to being in a container with a bunch of other women who are also willing to own that this is where they are in their business, by stepping into a container where other people are willing to invest this much in themselves and their growth, I'm saying I deserve to be in the room with these bitches, right? And they're not bitches, they're fucking lovely. And it's just such a beautiful container. But it's like, that's what I want for the people who join Disrupt. Everybody in that container needs to be willing to make that investment in themselves, because for everyone else in the container, this is about bringing together people who are so committed to fucking breaking their patterning, to stepping into the fullest expression of themselves in their life and in their business, to fully dropping into purpose and like being, as my old mentor Leah would say, being the divine's bitch, right? It is about all of that. It is about understanding that we transcend money. Yeah? That's it. It's about fucking transcendence. And if the people who if I allow myself to fall into a pity party sob story about people's financial situations, that's actually more about me and how I value myself. So by tuning into Disrupt as an offering, she was like, you've got to come up to meet me. And so I am. And here I am. And as soon as I got that message, I knew I had to jump on live and share this with you. I haven't had my dinner yet, you know, but it was like, I'm in the flow and I need to share this message. I need people to understand that you get to change your mind. You get to realign. You get to pivot and always follow what feels best for you. Even if there are people who have signed the fuck up for something and you're like, look, things have shifted, things have evolved, this is what's happening now. And it's interesting because normally what will happen is when I put something out, I get that influx of people as I did with this, and at least one of them will usually be like, I am so in. Thanks, Steph. Yeah, like I'm in, you know, at least one of them will usually jump on, and then I'm like, it's like, that's my reflection from the universe, right? Manifesting generator. It's like, that's my response. And I'm like, okay, we're off. This time I could feel resistance energetically. And I was like, is this from them or from me? I don't know. Does it matter? Not really. Okay, cool. Drop into it, feel into the offering. What needs to shift in order for me to feel really excited? And here's another key piece that people just seem to fucking forget about all the time. I desire to be excited about what I'm offering, but also I want to be in a place of delivering that offering feeling so fucking good about it. Would I have felt good at the original price, which was £5,000? No, I wouldn't. I didn't. And it's not always the price that has to change, right? It's not always the price that has to change. Sometimes it's like, how many calls am I offering here? Do I actually want to do more? Do I want to do less? Do I want to maybe change that and have a guest speaker? Maybe it's not run online. Maybe it's actually something that I do on Telegram. Maybe it's an in-person event. Like, it's not always about the price. But if you are not feeling the juice of something that is aligned, and you know that you're going to be running because it's fucking potent as fuck and it's going to up-level people's shit like a motherfucker. If you know that, like I do about Disrupt, why would I just wipe it away? Why would I just like kind of ignore it? Like, well, I'll just put it over there. And if anyone remembers that I'm offering that thing that I spoke about once or twice on the internet, then I'll let them in, but I'm not going to bother marketing it because I don't really want to run it. Either let that fucker go and just do something else, or feel into that offering and ask, what is out of alignment here? This offering is so potent that it's I call her she. It's like she's like a character. She's like a person. I can feel the energy of this container, and it's sassy as fuck. And I want people, and this is again like the offering is always going to be infused with the energy with which you are launching and selling it. If I'm launching and selling something and I don't feel inspired and connected to it, when I deliver that offering, I'm not going to feel those things either. And it's going to be 3 months of like, oh God, I have to show up for that call. And yeah, I'll still deliver because, this bitch does deliver. But that's not what my life is. My life is about like one pleasurable experience to the next. I'm really not interested in making myself do something because I said I would. And moving forward into 2021, that is something that I will be dropping even deeper into. And I am aware that this process of launching, selling and running Disrupt is a big part of my initiation into whatever comes after it. And I think this is another thing, right? The offering you're currently building to is not the final destination either. Disrupt is going to be potent as a motherfucker. But that's not going to be the last. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to like lay down on my deathbed after Disrupt and go, my work here is done. Amen. And just fall asleep and never awaken. At least let's fucking hope not. Cheers to a long life of creating magical shit. Clink, clink. There's going to be more. There's going to be more after that. So it's, again, that balance of being unattached to the outcome, but also giving enough of a shit to continually drop into connect. Is this offering still what I need to be running? Yes. Am I willing to let it go if it's no longer in alignment as an offering in general? Yes. Right? You've got to be willing to continually follow your alignment. And so, yes, that's what I'm being initiated into at the moment. Is there anything else I wanted to say to you about this? I even wrote some little notes because I was like, this is so like the energy of this message is so potent. I need to make sure I've fucking written everything down that I want to say. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything. That's everything I want to say. Anyone have anything they would like to ask me? Any reflections? Anything at all? And who's coming to join me in this beastie motherfucking program? Fuck. Yeah. So I was laying in the bath and I was like, it's very easy, even for me, who's been doing this for a long time now, it's easy for me to sometimes get into the, well, they get this many calls and this many things and that much input and that much access and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, It's not about that. It's not about how many modules you get or any of that shit. It's about what is the transformation I'm offering. And it's big. And it's quick. That's what she said. I think sometimes people don't really understand until they get into a container with me how quickly things move. Big things. Reframing how you see transformation and experience transformation. Because when you say yes, things start to move immediately. Particularly with these higher level offerings where you get more, you know, it's like the more you invest, the more access to me you get, which means the more, like, the closer to my energy that you are, the more you are in my field. Low battery. Of course things are going to change rapidly. Across all of my fucking charts, every chart I've had read ever, it's like, oh, you offer massive transformation. And I'm like, yeah. And getting out of this idea that we need to do something in particular, right? We need to do something in particular in order to make it worthwhile. And it's like, no, I'm continually reminded by my clients. I'm still like an overdoer. I can't help myself. I love to be in the energy of the do, right? But we can always lean in more to owning our magic, because I can pretty much guarantee anyone who follows my work and resonates with me in any way is going to over-deliver in any of their containers. They're always going to over-deliver. So it's always okay for you to feel into what it's meant to be priced at and just fucking own the shit out of it. Sarah, yes, transformation is a standard by which this investment should be made. How big and fast are the important questions? Yeah, for sure. And I think, again, there's, you know, there can be a discrepancy sometimes because we kind of like, we feel and we know rapid transformation can happen. And then when we slide under our power and we downplay through our pricing or how we're showing up and expressing ourselves, and we like lean away from our magic, we can attract people who aren't quite where they need to be in order to experience the transformation we can facilitate, which means that they don't get the results that we perceive they might get, right? So it's like, by owning where you are and the people that you really are best suited to work with, where you are on your journey right now as a mentor or coach, or, you know, whatever it is that you guys are here for, when you really own that, that's when you attract the people who are so ready for the transformation that you and your frequency creates when they're in your field. They're so ready for it that it's like all they have to do is say yes, and then it's like the layers just fall away and the magic is revealed and really cool shit just starts happening in their life without them even having to do anything, without you having to do anything. And it's the more and more that we own this and our pricing and how we structure our offerings and how much of ourselves and how, you know, we kind of give. All of this stuff is constantly evolving, particularly when we as mentors are always growing and evolving ourselves. And it is important to check back in with ourselves. Where am I now? And is this offering and pricing in alignment with the transformation that I can now facilitate? So anyway, that's my rant for this evening. Thanks so much for being here. If you are feeling to join Disrupt, please reach out to me. I'm only going to be taking 10 people maximum because I want to keep it fairly intimate. It's going to be deep fucking work. Yeah, reach out to me. I've got all the details. There's a sales page almost, kind of, but I can give you the deets anyway before the sales page is finished because, you know, I like to fly by the seat of my pants. Sales page. I know. The fact I'm even creating a sales page for this motherfucker is like, what? So, love to all of you. Thank you so much for the love hearts and the thumbs up. And I love it all. I feel so validated. I feel so loved. Have an amazing rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Thanks so much for joining me.